Hey there, aquarium gangsters. Jeremy Wright here with the Arkansas Planet Aquarium Club, and today I'm doing a little bit of a cleanup from the top of this tank. You can see it's got some duckweed in it. I think this is my only aquarium that has duckweed, and I'm about to remove it. I do grow this outside for people who have goldfish and such, and from time to time it just makes its way back into some of my tanks. And then I go on, benders of removing this stuff. So I'm going to show you the best way that I have come across in decades of removing duckweed. This is called surface skimming. The way I have found to do it best is you take a small thing you can dip with, right? Switching hands. So simply come in here, stick it in between your other floaters, or if you've got a large system that you don't have other floaters, you don't need a small vessel like this, but you can really go in between other floating plants if you've got other floaters with a small thing like this. And this is super handy. This is just a little measuring cup, like an extra small, like, I don't know, eighth of a cup or something. And I think it's great with this little handle. I use this tool all the time. It's no longer part of my kitchen. It's a part of my aquarium stuff. And I come through and just do a little bit of dip. Oh, there's some algae at the top of this tank. Might be picking that out too. Or just turning one of the lights off. So 2 lights on this tank. So that's a Higer planted 24/7, whatever. And that's just like a Walmart undershelf LED. And what I'm pouring this into is just, it's a little snack cup, or this was like a mixed nuts thing from Costco or something. So get it in here, literally just pour it in there. And then when I'm done with that, when the water level in this rises, I can literally skim it off, throw this outside, and reuse the water, so I'm not losing anything. But just give you an idea of how effective this is. I've come across other people who like to use like combs or other things. I think that's kind of silly. This is gravity powered. It does most of the work for you. So all I have to do is put this near what I'm trying to get out. And uh-oh. Cool. Well, if you don't kick your vessel over with your knee, it works better. So notice how this stuff like literally comes to me. I know the reflections are just making it difficult to see. That's just part of recording things in the life aquatic. But this is just a super useful trick. Now this spot here has quite a bit of guppy grass growing up and into this other stuff. So it's gonna make it a little more challenging. But still, way better than trying to use a comb, way better than picking out by hand, way better than just trying to nuke it chemically. Don't ever put poison in your aquariums, really. Like, that's a bad idea. Like, poisoning your garden, poisoning your aquarium is kind of the same thing. It's not a good idea. There are lots of people who are trying to make money off of you, and they will try to sell you poison, but it's not good for your aquarium. It's not good for your plants, it's not good for your fish, it's not good for your microbiology. And, as an ecosystem, your aquarium will suffer from poison. So generally, I pick out algae, duckweed, and other things manually by hand. First off, you'll get a better result sooner. And it's a lot more bio-friendly. Like, we don't wage war against biology when we're trying to solve small problems. So now there are some other situations like blackbeard algae. Like, you probably aren't going to effectively pick all of that out. You just need to remove it. You might even have to start over with the tank. But I generally advise people to manually remove all that you can. It doesn't matter what kind of algae or duckweed you're messing with. Physically remove all you can get out. And then watch it for a while. And then physically remove all you can. Now, in a case like BBA, you're gonna have to remove whatever hardscape or substrate or plants that you have that are contaminated. You're just gonna have to remove it, sorry. And honestly, it's in the water. You're probably not gonna get rid of that. Duckweed, on the other hand, you can get rid of all of this. Like, you can physically get rid of all of it. Now, you might not get rid of all of it on the first round or the first day that you're trying this, but you can. The trouble with duckweed is that it gets trapped under leaves from other floaters. It gets, if you've got like a waterfall hang on back like that, it can get pushed down under the surface, and some of it, we might even find some. I don't see any that's stuck down right now, but in highly turbid tanks with duckweed, first off, that surface turbidity, a lot of surface movement might just kill it by itself. But that stuff will get pushed down and caught on other plants or hardscape, and you'll think you got it all, and then like a few days later or later that day, or some amount of time later, you'll notice that you see some more. And that's just because it gets trapped and stuck. And this is kind of a cool thing. When it comes up against the edge, you have to let it come to you, and it just falls right in there. And then, as long as you're a little bit dexterous. Now, my right hand is partially paralyzed, so I'm, if I look like I'm fumbling, it's because I'm fumbling. That's literally what I'm doing. But you'll have an easier time than me. So just go along and remove all you can. And after I do this, I'm literally going to remove these other floaters and transplant them, or move them. They're not really being transplanted. I'm going to move them outdoors, but I'm trying not to bring all the duckweed with them. Believe it or not, people who are buying plants don't want duckweed or algae or snails, so you have to remove that stuff if that's your goal. Now, if you're just trying to grow a healthy tank, duckweed's not at all going to keep you from having a healthy tank. It might frustrate you, but it's not going to keep you at all from having a healthy tank. It's a really useful tool if you use it as such. Now, check this out. Down in here where this stuff's growing in between stuff, I can literally dip it right in between the other plants and get the duckweed. And notice none of the other plants came with it. So surface skimming is the technique that I'm trying to show you here, not just how to remove duckweed. This is a skill that you can use for lots of other things. The other things that I use it for, unfiltered tanks or still water tanks often get surface scuzz up on the tops of them. And you can use surface skimming as a trick for removing that stuff, just the same way I'm doing here. So I've actually got some other videos on there, but it's probably been years since I recorded that trick for specifically surface scuzz. I don't know, maybe it hasn't been years. Maybe it's just been a year or so, but I have other videos on this, but each time I do this, it reaches, a wider, broader, different audience. So anytime I'm thinking about it, I try to include little tips like this on how to get the stuff out. Now, I've caught a couple of snails while doing this. I'm not worried about it because, like I said, I'm going to go back and do this same trick. I'm going to surface skim my container after I've filled it up, get all that duckweed out of there, and I'm going to reuse the water. And yeah, I'll actually have all the duckweed out of it. And I'm not at all worried about losing ground. I'm not going to do this all the time somewhere, like my outdoor ponds. So I'm in central Arkansas. We have raccoons. My house backs up to the woods, so I'm not going to get rid of the raccoons, right? They're in the middle of a city. There are like 500,000 people here in our metro area. And there are raccoons thriving here. How they come into play with my outdoor aquatics is they wash their food. They dip it in water. So often they come to my bins, my little summer tubs and outdoor grow bins, and in and around my greenhouse, out on my back patio. I've got lots of little bins outside, and some of them have duckweed. I try to keep those in the greenhouse so they have a harder time getting to them, but the raccoons don't care. They can open the door, they can go in the greenhouse if they want to. Sometimes they're just exploring, sometimes they decide they want to, eat something that's in there. I can't keep them from doing so. They'll just tear a hole in even if I lock it up. But when they go through and start dipping their little mitts into containers, for some reason they won't just stick with one. They'll use like 6 containers. So I'll have in the warm season, I have a nightly shuffle. All the aquatic floaters get kind of shuffled around, so I try to keep them, water lettuce in one area, salvinia in one area, red root floater in one area, duckweed in one area, frogbit in one area, it's riccia in one area. But they don't care. They'll, have their little duckweed covered mitts, and then they'll go stick their paws in another piece of water as they're exploring and checking stuff out. And, I'm not gonna like get rid of the raccoons or trap them or anything just because they make me do a little bit of extra work. I think they're cool. I like them. I enjoy watching them. Some of them are my friends, like they're named. But in the 11 and a half minutes that we've been doing this, I could have been working a lot faster, but I'm talking, I'm shooting a video, holding a camera with one hand and doing the rest of it with my bad hand. So I probably could have been finished with this, but I'm jabbering. Thanks for watching this. I hope it comes handy, because the skill that I'm teaching, surface skimming, I hope that comes in handy for some of you somehow, some way, whether it's duckweed, surface scuzz on a still system, or maybe you've got like a goldfish jar, or your ponds outside, or summer tubs, and they accumulate pollen or leaves or whatever. Surface skimming is the easiest way I know of to remove that stuff. I hope you enjoyed this. If you like this sort of thing, give me a like, subscribe, comment, and we've got like, I don't know, another 700 aquarium videos you can check out on the channel. I hope you enjoy some of it. Thanks very much. Hope you have a great day.